Hey guys, this is Mladen from Nottingham Productions. I'm sitting down today with Mladen from Chillbop, one of my really close friends and also another fellow video business owner. Today we're just going to catch up with each other, have some chats about video strategy, what he's been up to, what I've been up to, and hopefully give you guys some good nuggets on how to improve your own videos and see what kind of some of the high level expertise looks like at the top of the video industry. Cool. So
Thank you
let's
for
jump right
having me.
into it. Yeah, dude, of course. I mean, it's been since last time we got on a call, it's been a while. Before we started the recording, like we were already riffing a little bit, and I was like, shoot, we need to get this recording started because I don't want to miss any of it.
For sure, dude. For sure, man. How's everything with you been?
Everything's been good. Yeah, there's a few things I wanted to ask you first, though, before we get to me. So one of the things I was thinking or wondering about was you told me a few months ago, I think it was earlier this beginning of this year, whenever you were launching your community. He'll explain it more, but Mladen has a community where he coaches other video business owners. And I'd love for you to talk about it more to give the audience context before I ask further questions, because I want it to be like clear what we're speaking about.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess a brief overview of the community that I run. So now being in videography for about, I want to say like a year and a half officially since I quit my full-time banking job. I spent a lot of time making mistakes in my own videography business. And more importantly, and you might agree with this, Mateen, is that stepping into entrepreneurship exposes you of your weaknesses. So if you suck at time management, scheduling, sales, communication, filming, whatever it might be, whichever component, you will be exposed of it very quickly because you're allocating all your time into this entrepreneurial path, right? So with that, that's where I exposed myself of my weaknesses. And very quickly, I had to reverse my strategy when it came to operating my videography business, which was prior to, I was doing 90% education and 10% action. And that costed me a lot because I wasn't taking enough action in my business and I was being overwhelmed with so many little intricacies of this entrepreneurial path. So when I was pushed up against the wall and I got down to, I've said the story before, but for those that might not know me, I almost lost my house getting into business. I got down to my last $1,500. My mortgage repayments were $3,000 per month. So I was like literally 2 weeks away from having to call the same bank that I used to work for before I quit my job to let them know. I probably would have spoken to a colleague and literally have to tell them I can't make repayments. And being put up against the wall into that corner, I literally had to step in what I call survival mode. And I completely changed all of my strategies. Instead of approaching business with value-based pricing and, going into that metric, I actually did the complete opposite. And I was advised not to do this. I was advised it's going to devalue your worth. It's going to devalue your reputation. To the contrary, it actually didn't do that. In fact, I ran a bunch of strategies and offers that required a lot of investment and upfront time and capital from my end to do things for free for businesses and companies within my state. And then shortly after, across the country. However, it planted the seeds of wanting to get shit done. And if there's anything that other business owners love about other business owners, it's someone getting out there and making it happen. You've got YouTubers now from all across the world you've got content creators from across the world, one of which is a guy called, I believe his name is Edward, and he's flying a plane. He's the first person to fly a plane across the 7 continents across the world solo. And he's only like 18 or 19 years old. But he's doing it for the sake of charity. He's raising funds for, I don't know if it was cancer or if it was for mental health, but there was a story behind it. And he ended up racking up 1 million followers like that. So extracting the storyline, that's what was happening with me. People were loving the fact that I literally lost everything. And I'm about to lose the home that I just moved into. And people were just wanting to contribute whatever way they could. So I capitalized off that. I totally admit that. So throughout that process and journey, I'm not going to get into those details. I think I've actually mentioned it in our previous podcast regarding the strategies and offers. But doing what I'd done and making an impact within my own life and within my clients' businesses' lives, in turn making them a profit from videography, created a bigger story, a story that I couldn't have imagined. as a result of this, Mladen, I ended up launching my own community, which is what you asked about. So I apologize if I rambled on for a little bit too long there. But as I launched my community, I made it my mission to help teach beginner videographers, not advanced, not intermediate, but beginners, on how to build and scale a side hustle of up to $2,000 per month using the same strategies that have now helped me go beyond 10,000, 15,000, and I'm on the border of now hitting my first 20 grand a month, which is absolutely fucking wild to be able to be in a position like that within a year and a half. As you know, most businesses absolutely flop within the first 2 years, and 95% of them don't succeed whatsoever, let alone make a profit. The beautiful thing about what we do and why our industry is so special is because to get started, you don't need a lot of capital for your camera gear. Like, I started off with a Sony a6400. I didn't even use lights. I used a shotgun microphone before I invested into like Rode wireless go-tos and a lavalier, a tripod. You know, that's it. I went through that from sort of that low budget and low cost to entry, and I was able to, from what I believe, I was able to fucking crush it. And I showed now my students within the community that I've built called Side Hustle Shooters. And yeah, we've had 2 people now successfully quit their job to do this full time, which I'm so fucking proud of. And it's not a big community. We're hovering around 10 people. And surprisingly, most of my students are not from the country that I'm from, which is Australia. We've got students in America, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Kuwait, Spain, and I think only 2 people from Australia. So it just goes to show that, again, the storyline. If you document your journey and share with people what you are going through as a business owner, you will attract people that are going to watch you. They might not necessarily comment or message you, but they will watch you. And that sort of seed planting, that will be nurtured over a period of time. In fact, I've had someone recently contact me regarding filming. They want to use my services, and they've been on the sidelines since the beginning. They saw one of my offers, they followed me, they never interacted with me. In fact, I even messaged them, because you should be messaging everyone that interacts with you, and they didn't reply, they ghosted me. But a year and a half later, they've come back to me and they've said, hey, I used to watch your content back when this was happening, when you're about to lose your home, and this first offer you released came out. I want to see, like, would you be free to have a chat with me? And I'm just there like, yo, people are watching you regardless. So This is sort of the philosophy that I teach within my community. And I truly believe that if you get to learn something, you learn it the first time. But if you get to teach someone something, you learn it the second time. And now imagine having a community and a space where you're holding that space and pouring your strategies, your life's work, your mindset, your disciplines, the stoicism that you carry within your business, and speak about that as often as possible. You will learn a lot more quicker, and you will become an authority figure in much more of a quicker time than a person that might be within the space who may have been in it for about 10 years. That's my perspective anyway. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm feeling right now. And it's a good feeling, man, to be able to help people quit their jobs. That's my mission. Get people right the fuck out of the 9 to 5. Get out of the matrix. It's the default path. You shouldn't be living life on default, man. It's unnecessary. A job is only good once you get out of school to understand where you stand in the world. And at some point, you should be fed up with how the system operates. And you should start to realize, like, am I signed up for this for the next 40 years? Like, that conversation is happening with a lot of people. The difference is some people don't want to have that conversation with themselves. They don't want to think about that. And today, thinking for yourself is a superpower. A lot of people don't do that. So that's sort of the overview of our community and the backbone behind it and why it was created in the first place.
Yeah, fantastic context. I mean, that's a great story. And I a lot of stuff was new to me. I didn't know you were up to like around 10 people now. Like, I think last time I checked, you were like 3 or 4. Like, I think at first, when you first launched, you got like 3 or 4 people at the beginning. And that's the last time I had heard. So it's crazy that you're growing that fast too. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love when I've heard you tell that story a few times, and I just love hearing it. Like how when you were about to lose your house. You decided, you were like, screw everything. I'm gonna work for free. Like that was your idea. Your strategy was, I'm gonna lose my house, so I'm gonna work for free. And it like, I mean, I watched it. For the people listening to this, I was watching this happen live. Like day by day, this guy was sending, you know, crazy wins after win after win, and it was just getting bigger and bigger. And um, everything he said is true. I mean, he stuck with it. And I was really relating to what you were saying about posting what you do. I post a lot on LinkedIn, as you know, and recently I started to post almost all like founder POV content because I realized that a lot of the people I'm trying to connect with are usually founders or CEOs or owners or presidents or whatever. So I started posting founder based content about the struggles of like managing a team, like making mistakes, learning from them, taking responsibility, holding risk, all of these things that I've had no one to talk to about for a long time, or a very limited amount of people to talk to about, to the extent that I can. And I just started posting about it a bunch. Like pretty much everything I would write down in a journal, I started posting on LinkedIn, and it's been crazy. It's been doing so good. I've been getting comments and likes and shares from past clients who are like, I mean, I don't talk about it very often publicly, but I'm 21, which it surprises a lot of people. I think I look a bit older, but um, they comment on those posts. And one of the reason I said that is because one of the posts I mentioned that, and the guy commented or DM'd me or something, and it says something along the lines of like, oh my God, we worked together like a year and a half ago too. So I was probably like 19 or 20. And he was like, dude, I had no idea. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then we caught back up, and I think we're going to be working together again soon. I mean, there you go. There's a deal right there from that. So, I mean, I just think the point is like when you're posting about what you're doing, and like you were saying, the struggles you're going through, it's hard for other business owners not to eat it up, because I do too. I don't know if you ever run into this, but every once in a while I'll have the pleasure of coming across a YouTube video with like 50 views that says, day one of growing my business or whatever. And it's just like some small fish in the sea, like trying to make something or starting a new series. And I've subscribed to so many of these small niche channels and like watch their journeys, and like some fail, some grow, it's whatever. But it's just, I think as a business owner, it's exactly like you were saying. There's nothing more you love than seeing other people do the same thing and succeed at it, because it's such a unique experience. Like there's no other, at least that I know of, there's not really any other thing like it. It's a blend of work and personal life that most people will never be able to relate to, and it's just so beautiful and liberating to see other people get to experience that when you have so much love for it yourself.
100%, man. Like I can share, I can sort of relate to following one of those YouTube channels that started off with nothing and they're on the come up. I followed a channel called Purpose Driven Men. The channel is ran by a gentleman by the name of Malik, and he had one of the clickbaity titles like, if you saw this video, God wanted you to like watch it, like one of those ones. And I was like, all right, cool, let me just like check it out. It ended up on my recommended, and I think he had like under 1,000 subs at the time, and there was like 50, 60 views on the video. And I listened to it, and I was like, yo, I could listen to this type of content every day. And fast forward a year, he's now on 250,000 subscribers. He's released his own book. He runs his own online community, and he's got his own like Discord family. And I still listen to him every single day, and it's perfect. And he's never missed a day. And that's why I keep watching him, because he's consistent. But I've never commented on a video. Like I don't even follow him on Instagram, but I know a lot about him, and I'm behind the scenes watching him. And it just goes to show that we do that for people. Therefore, people do that with us when we share, when we're vulnerable, when we hold space within our ecosystem and network, maybe across, in-person events, networking, LinkedIn, Instagram, regardless of the platform, people are always watching. And for anyone that, wants a recommendation on some good, like real life personal development content, check out Purpose Driven Men, and you'll see it's a black dude. His name is Malik, and really good guy. And by the way, the dude's only 21, which is crazy, and he holds so much fucking like wisdom and life experience. I think he was like brought up in like a underprivileged area, like the trenches, basically. Like he's from that sort of background, and he was able to work his way up. Work as many jobs as possible. Got a scholarship in university, or sorry, college for you guys. And yeah, just I love the story. I got sold, and I was like, yo, I'm a sucker for it. And so being on both ends of the stick, you start to see how the mechanics of human behavior work in the world. It's more impactful when it's authentic. Oftentimes people discover this sort of method of, human behavior and the mechanics and the storyline, and they try to force a story. But when you force the story, you haven't written it yet. You're probably leveraging someone else's story and piggybacking off it. And that's fine if you want to take inspiration, but you got to make your own story. You got to look like a fucking idiot online. That you have to. That's how you learn. That's what I mean by this thing. Entrepreneurship exposes you of your weaknesses. You can't be perfect immediately. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that. And interestingly enough, I'll pivot into this, but I've had clients that I've worked with, and they very much want to have content that's dialed in, perfect, and they're trying to reference or pull inspiration from like the top tier caliber within their industry. And when they share that with me, I quickly debunk them and humble them. I said, that person's done 1,000 to 2,000 reps in videos. You haven't done one yet. I know you want to take and pull inspiration from them. Maybe that might be the thing that we look up to, but don't put them on a pedestal. Don't be infatuated with them. Just remember they're human. Pull them back down, see them eye to eye, and from then on, let's make content based around what you want to do, what you want to share, what value do you want to bring, what type of education do you want to bring to the world. How about we start there? And then we can start, looking at dissecting the hooks, the call to actions, and the storyline.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. I had a call with a prospective client probably a year and a half ago that I still remember, and we didn't end up doing any filming together. But the reason I remember them is because they were a speaker and they wanted to make like speaker style content, and they sent me a video, and I see her all over the place now, everywhere. Now I see her. I had never seen her back then. And she sent me this video of this lady. I don't remember her last name, but her first name is Shadee, like Shadee. And you know who she is? She's very good at communication. She has these beautifully shot videos. That was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like, whoa, like the cinematography is like out of this world. And I think it's things on like self-development and communication, things like that. And it was just so good. Like I was watching that video and I was like, this lady is incredible. And I'm talking, the client or the prospective client I'm talking with is saying, I want to make videos like this. And I told her the exact same thing. I was like, look, we can make you this video, technically speaking. We can set up the lights, we can put on the dress, we can tune the colors, we can pick the right lens. But at the end of the day, you haven't done enough content to have the impact that this creator has, because she's been creating videos for years. You just got on the phone with me and you want to create content. So we're going to do everything in our power together as a team to make sure, me and you, that your content's going to look like this one day. But I don't want your expectations to be through the roof that it's going to look like this tomorrow, because there's just, as someone who does this for a living, I've created documents that I send to people before I film with them for the first time. That's pretty much like a how to act on camera 101, with all these like rules and regulations of like little tricks they can do and like mental preparations, and even breaking down like the process of what it's going to be like, of like, when you sit down, we're going to do this, and I'm going to ask you these questions, and so everyone's fully prepared. And even then, of course, some people are still nervous. And what can you do? Like when there's a camera in front of your face, especially like a professional one, it's a little bit daunting. Sometimes there's lights and microphones, and it can be scary. But that's what I was trying to, say. I was saying, like, you have to do the reps, you have to do the practice, because even last year when we did our last podcast together, I think that was, if it wasn't my first, it was my second. And I mean, if you watch me on that podcast versus right now, I mean, like half this time I forgot we were recording. Back then, like I felt like my back, was like tied against a plank of wood. I was like this the whole time. I was so stiff I couldn't think, but excuse me. But now, I've been making content myself for the past year. And even though I had been recording videos for years prior to that, I hadn't been recording videos of myself before that. And that was kind of like the beginning of my shift into founder-based content. And ever since then, I've gotten so much more comfortable on camera. I've gotten better at communication. when I'm on meetings with prospective clients, like I feel more relaxed. I feel more confident when I talk to people in person. Like when I'm ordering at restaurants, I feel good. It's kind of underrated how much talking to a camera can do for
Yes,
you.
100%.
People talk a lot about journaling. When I was in school, and every time we had to write an essay, I would always ask the teacher if I could do a video presentation instead because I loved filmmaking. Now I feel like my equivalent is people talk about journaling, and I say, like, man, I have a huge, we've talked about this before, I have a huge folder of videos on my computer that are just like 30 to 40-minute self podcasts of me talking to a camera, like updating it on my life. And I can go back and watch these and see where I was at different points. To be honest, I've literally never watched back a single one of them, at least not yet. And I've been doing it for like a year. Maybe I need to wait a little bit longer. But the reason why I do them is because as soon as I'm finished recording, everything that I had to say beforehand feels like it's left my body and I feel good. And a lot of times it's not just like personal therapeutic things. Actually, almost all the time, mostly like business and work related items that I get the same effect of when I do content filming days. Like we do content filming days for our company Instagram account once a month. And at the end of those days, I feel so refreshed because I'm like, I just talked about my expertise for like the past 8 hours, not straight, of course, but like for like, 8 to 10 videos pretty much. I talked about something I'm an expert at and that I'm really passionate about. And as you go throughout the day, you start to realize you feel really confident because you're talking on camera about something that you know more about than probably 99% of the rest of the world. The other thing you start to realize is that the more you talk on camera about what you do, you start to get more interested in doing it more because you start to have more ideas of what else you want to say. And you start to think, man, if somebody saw that last video of mine, I bet they'd want to see this next one because I have a good follow up. And then I think the next thing that you realize is it's actually kind of fun and it's really beneficial in a lot of ways. It's beneficial for yourself. It's beneficial for your business. And in my opinion, based on the feedback that I've gotten, it's the most beneficial for your audience. The people love video. You can't, I know I sound so biased saying it. I say it all the time, but like you can't deny it. People love video. That's why, the whole world has turned towards video the past 5 years. I mean, there's no going back. I think we're in it for the long run.
Totally, man. I agree with you on that, on every metric. And here's the clickbait. This is a message for all videographers right now. Listen, if you're not filming yourself and documenting what's happening within your business, your personal life, any vulnerabilities, any challenges, any wins, any new insights, any mindset shifts that you're currently experiencing, if you're not doing any of that, and you're a videographer, ask yourself, what type of videographer doesn't film themselves, that doesn't want to be on camera? You have to put yourself on camera. You are your own case study. Yes, you might be able to color grade and do some crazy shots and insane edits and maybe perhaps even tell a beautiful story, but you will learn so much more when you put that time. Treat yourself as the client. How about that? Do that for yourself. You'll realize that there will be things that you can still improve upon. More importantly, when you share your message with people, one of the beneficial symptoms of progress is something that you mentioned, Mateen, is that your confidence increases, your skill set of communication improves, your ability to be relaxed is seen, it's evident. And speaking of evident or evidence, you're stacking them up. You're stacking up the videos, more evidence, more proof of concept, more confidence, better communication. What does that do for you? If you start stacking up all those pieces of evidence, you become 1% better each time you do that. That's a skill set that 99% of the world will never experience. And I've shared this exercise or point of view with a lot of people before, including other people within my industry here in Melbourne. And, I don't have time. Who has the time to record themselves? I've got to go to this shoot. I've got to edit this video. It's like, fair enough. It just shows me that you suck at time management and that you don't put yourself first. That's what you're telling me. Like, you're saying that, but I'm saying what you're actually saying, which is your actions, and you're not doing enough of it in this direction. Doesn't mean you need to make it, like you mentioned that you've set some time to film 8 videos that might have taken 8 hours. You don't have to do that. Once you get comfortable, then yes, do that for efficiency's sake. But when you begin, just turn on the camera and talk. That is all you have to do. That's where you start from.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, worry about the lighting and the scripting and all that
To be
stuff.
clear, I should reiterate for the people watching, that's for my business account. content where I'm in the videos, some of my employees are in the videos. Sometimes it's like BTS from our client shoots in those videos. So that's for this very like analytical style. Like we're making like the content on our business account is like the same kind of content that we're selling to our clients, which is strategically positioned to bring us more work, bring us more attention. But what Mladen's talking about, like these self videos, the ones I film for myself, dude, it's on my webcam. Sometimes I'm like lying back like this on my chair and like my feet are on the desk, and like I take the mic off the stand and I'm just holding it up because I'm literally lying down and I'm just talking about however I feel. Like I don't set the lighting. I don't even edit these videos. They get recorded on OBS straight into the movies folder on my computer, and that's where they live. So like it's really like when he was saying if you like there's no excuse to not be doing this. I mean seriously, like if you're sitting at your computer, you're already doing everything that I did to prepare to film that video. So and I do it when I feel like I need them. To be honest, it's like sometimes you feel you need a therapy session. Sometimes you feel like you need a beach day. Sometimes you feel like you just need to sleep in. Sometimes I just feel like I need to record a video and just talk to the camera and say what I've been feeling, what's been going on in my life. And of course, there's hard times where you're going to record a lot and talk a lot. And there's good times. And usually in the good times, I don't talk to the camera that much. But if I remember, it's been a while, then I'll record a video just based on gratitude. Yeah, I love documenting everything. And then another thing that you kind of mentioned that I wanted to like extrapolate out of it again was it makes you 1% better every day. And when you think about, as like a business executive or a business owner, you want to be approachable, you want to be personable, you want to have good communication, you want to be able to articulate yourself correctly, you don't want to be stuttering, you don't want to be saying ums and ahs and lots of filler words. You want to make sure that when you talk to somebody, they get the message that you're trying to get across and they understand it in the way that you intended for them to understand it. Accomplishing that without recording yourself or hearing yourself talk on camera is really hard. And I know it because I tried to do it for so long because I don't like talking on camera and seeing myself and hearing how I sound. I don't think anybody does at first, but you get used to it and then it gets better. But what you start to realize is that, I think you have a few of these too. I have some retainer clients that I work with on a monthly basis, and that means like they, have a certain amount of videos that we make for them each month. And these people have gotten so good on camera. I mean, it's crazy. And then not even just in camera, but when I see them in person, I mean, obviously we're more comfortable with each other, but I can see it in the way they talk, the way they act. I don't know if they notice it, but a lot of these people are in industries where they're very separated from other people. They're not cool, flashy industries. They're maybe sometimes they're more boring or in the shadows. So these are people that don't have tons of social interaction because maybe they're in a shop all day by themselves, right? 6 days a week. And at the first few videos, they're like a little bit quiet or a little bit shy. But then by month 3, by month 4, I show up and I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you again. Hope you have a good weekend. And like all this stuff. And like, they get on camera and the energy stays. It doesn't drop. And it's just, I mean, it's really incredible, like the advantages that you get. And it's not just for video business owners. It's not just for other business owners. It's not just for, whoever in your company who's trying to make content, or whether you're trying to make the content for your personal life, like we were talking about, like video diaries. I think there's an essence to video that you can't get from anything else. And it's so unique. And that's why I allow it into my personal life with those video diaries. That's why I surrounded my business life around it. And that's why when I go on trips and vacations, I still bring a camera just to record like whatever I'm doing, because I just love it. It captures things in a way that is so unique. And it's more than just a recording. I mean, it's emotion, it's storytelling, it's everything. I don't want to get like too deep here on that, but I mean, like, obviously I love filmmaking, but it's really not just a work thing. I think that's the point I'm trying to get across.
Most certainly. So it's your lifestyle. That's what it is. You love what you do what you love. You show up to, like, your downtime is something that is you doing something better within your business. That's what it is. Your downtime isn't Netflix. It's like, how do I make this process better? To the untrained eye or to the non-entrepreneur, they might see it as you're a workaholic, you're crazy. But for you, it's like, I do what I fucking love. Leave me alone. Like, go over there and brain rot for the rest of your night and do that every night for the next 40 years. But the
I
same
cannot emphasize how much I related with that first part. I'm sorry. I have to get in between that because I cannot explain myself one more time to somebody else. I'm so sick of it because I'm honestly like, I want to chill and have a good night, and I'm on my laptop on the couch and I'm like updating my website, or I'm like revising this brand strategy or whatever, and people are like, "Are you still working? Like, you should relax or do anything." And I like look at them, and or like they text me or whatever, and I'm like, "I'm having so much fun right now. You can't even fathom. Like, you're watching Netflix. I'm at a trampoline park. Okay,
Yeah,
like this is next level. Like, I'm having the time of my life." But no, you quoted it perfectly. What other people, other people's downtime is Netflix and brain rotting and scrolling and stuff like that or whatever. But my downtime is just, and the downtime of a lot of entrepreneurs is just working on your business. Because a lot of times in the downtime is when you do the fun stuff. Because let's be honest, most of the time you're not doing the fun stuff. Most of the time you're just doing the hard work. Most of the time you're just doing the reps. So when you do have downtime, you're like, yeah, I'm going to redesign my website, or like, yeah, I'm going to, like try and write up a new script or strategy or whatever that I'm thinking of working on. Like, you don't have time to do that throughout the day. So when you get the downtime, let's take a chill pill and enjoy it.
totally, man. It's that you've integrated it. It's part of your lifestyle. Not many people will experience that, and having to re-explain yourself over and over again. For me, it's just like I stopped. Like if someone asks me like, "What am I doing?" or like, you know, like why are you up so late or whatever it might be, because my response times are like either really early in the morning through WhatsApp and back to clients, or really late at night. It's never in the middle of the day. And if they ask me like, why are you up so late? I will literally at this point now lie. I will tell them, yeah, I was just like wrapping up for the day. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And
Me
I'm
too.
not going to tell them that I'm still working, because that will invite the conversation of, it's so early, it's so late, you should give yourself a break. And I'm just like, nope, I would rather lie to you at this point because I can't be fucked with that conversation.
I don't. So I'm a big supporter of honesty, but I did the same thing this weekend. I was at an event. I was at a volunteering at a camp for 5 days, and the people I was volunteering with were like, "Oh yeah, how'd you sleep?" And I was like, "Oh, like 4 hours or something," because I went to bed really late. And by the way, you should prioritize your sleep. Let's make that clear. But the fact is I was working during, and this camp was during the week, the business week, so I had to make things happen. And I don't support lying, but I was just like, I was just watching this Netflix documentary, so good, couldn't get over it. And they were like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, makes sense." And that was the end of the conversation. But I was thinking in my head, I was like, I'm so tired of trying to explain to somebody else without
Yes,
feeling like the judgment of whatever they think. Because I honestly, I don't care what they think. I'm so happy with what I'm doing, and being able to get 4 hours of sleep and waking up like $1 million is just such a pleasure. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful.
totally, man. Something I want to go back to that I wanted to bring up was that you mentioned how your retainer clients are how you're starting to see their confidence grow within a couple of months, and they're excited and they're maintaining that energy. I totally agree. I have a like real case study that literally just happened a week ago. So I got flown out to Sydney for one of my retainer clients. They are literally my first retainer client, my day one. Worked with them a bunch of times. I'm so fucking grateful for them. They're in the medical industry. They work with treating cancer patients pre and post treatment. And the owner, I remember when I first started working with him, we needed the full weekend to get out, 3 months worth of content. The last time I flew up, which was a week ago, I still went up for the weekend, but we got 3 months worth of content done within 4 hours. And I was like, this is good. I like this. And I literally said to Rob at the end of the shoot, I'm like, Rob, from when I first met you until now, night and day difference. Like, I would get the camera on. He's like, yeah, mic me up. And just boom, he is on fire. No scripting, like nothing. There's no pre production. Like, we have it, but nothing's being adhered to. He's just on a roll. And I'm like, I love that. The thing that I was talking about earlier on, where people want to act like other people, it's like, you can't do that yet. But put in your reps and you'll get to a point where you don't want to act like them. You want to act like you. You want to be your most authentic self. And by the end of the shoot, I was just I walked away impressed, and I thought to myself, like, this is amazing. And the content's great. I'm currently editing it at the moment. And we even took it a step further. As part of their marketing campaign, we're trying to target more people from the Chinese community and the French community. So we now have content as part of their social media campaign in Chinese and French, which is a challenge for me because I've never edited, bilingual subtitle in Chinese to English or French to English. So I'm there like, yo, this is the first time I've ever done this. So now there's pressure on me. So I need to step up because now I want to get better at what I do. And that's how it works. It's sort of that it's sort of that flow between you and that retainer client. And on a side note, I actually found an impressive way on how to like work through this. CapCut, I edit on CapCut. You can like run bilingual captions, so it'll give you both caption in English and the spoken language. Then you export the SRT file, run it through ChatGPT, and just ask it to give you the summarized English translation instead of the literal translation, because the literal translation is like horrible. Like in Chinese, they might say, hi, how are you? In English subtitles, it might be, good, how are you? Hi. And it just doesn't make
Right.
sense. It doesn't translate
Right.
well. So I figured that out within 10 minutes and I'm like, yo, I've just found a new system. I've developed a new system, which now made me think this is now a service that I can offer for other clients that want to target specific communities. And then it just blew my mind. So you feed from one another. And this all started with like the retainer client can speak on camera, but didn't deliver tonality, didn't deliver enthusiasm, to now enthusiasm, tonality, confidence, storytelling. Now we're talking in English, Chinese, and French. And I'm just like, yo, this is amazing. So I totally agree with you there, man. Just seeing that it's quite remarkable, and I'm proud of that because I was the catalyst for that to help them get out of their shell, and that's what you're doing now as well. You're the catalyst of helping these other business and company owners getting out of their shell because everyone's got a story to share. It's our job to pull it out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things you said that I want to go back to was you said, when you were talking about your client in Sydney that just went off script, you were like, we have the scripts, but he didn't need them. As somebody who makes commercial films and has been doing so for many years, one of my favorite quotes is, the perfect script will never be written. And I beg and plead every single one of my clients before we film, is there any way you feel comfortable enough for us to not script this for you? Because I will script your hook and I will script your call to action so the video starts and ends strong. But when you're talking about yourself and your expertise and your passion, unless this is like a 30-second ad spot commercial where we're having like real copy and script writing going into play, if this is a brand story video, or if you're filming something about who you are, or this is a recruitment video where you're trying to attract people and talent that you want to work with you and relate to you and your current team, you can't write that down. And you for sure can't have me write that down. Now I can help you and I can look at your website, I can do my research and we can make all these fancy words. But at the end of the day, you're going to be reading that off of a teleprompter or off of your minds. And you're always going to be more focused on the next word you have to say than the words that you're saying. That's why the best script will always be unwritten. When you're talking from your heart and you're talking about how you feel, you're not thinking about the next word that's coming out of your mouth, but you're thinking about the impact of what those words mean. That's when you get the best story. All of my best videos are unscripted. All the commercial campaigns that we've made that have gotten the best results have been unscripted or scripted, but they went off script. Improvisation, even in the traditional filmmaking world, has given some of like the best moments in movies and TV shows. So it's like, of course, that's still going to apply when you're thinking about commercial filmmaking, especially if it's about real people with real stories and real emotions attached to them, not actors.
100%, man. Yeah, I totally can't stress enough how it's important to have your pre-production. It's a guideline. It's simply just a guideline. It's okay if it goes off track. And that's where moments like this pop up, the authenticity. That's when it pours. When it rains, it pours, I say. Yeah, most of my shoots, there is the plan, but it definitely goes off script quite often. And I'm okay with it because it just means that they're comfortable. And I like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even the ones that I do script, a lot of the times, like it's pretty rare, like I was saying, unless we're really planning out what we're going to film for like a specific ad spot or something. A lot of the times, instead of scripting out, what they're going to say, we'll just script out questions to ask them. So they'll be prepared ahead of time. But every single time we've scripted out questions, there's not been a single occurrence where those are the only questions that I ask, or probably where those are even half of the questions that I ask in total. Those questions are just there so they know what we're going to talk about and they feel prepared. And they're like, all right, we're at least going to cover everything that I wanted to cover. But at the end of the day, when I sit down and you tell me that you started your construction company 25 years ago with your best bud, and now you're working and like you're like a, you're dominating this region. Like, of course I'm going to ask you more about that. Like, I'm so interested. Like, we were talking about it earlier on this podcast. As a fellow business owner, hearing the stories of other business owners is super interesting. So my company, we film a lot of brand story videos, and you get to hear about the story of all these owners and how they got started. So I'm sitting there asking questions purely out of my own self-interest of, how did they get here? What are they up to? And, I don't think I've ever worked with any company smaller than mine. We're fairly small. A lot of the times, like, I'm taking this as advice as well, because I'd love to hear from them and what they have to say and their journey. So yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy stuff, but I mean, I just can't get enough of it. And I think that when you get those natural responses, you really get, it's something that you can't replace. I mean, it's so unique.
100%, man. Yeah, totally. I agree with you on that. I'm also too quite selfish on set or in person, or even on the call. I will literally go out of my way to extract as much information from the client or prospective client, specifically about their business and industry that they are in, purely just because I want to learn something about their industry I might not that I might not be aware of, or that I could implement into my business. But it also serves as a great foundation and catalyst for content in the future, because if you remember something that they specialize in, or something about their storyline, that's something that you can actively recall in future content with the clients. And for example, you've been in business for 25 years. You started with your best bud. Talk to me about the best bud. How did that happen? How did you actually meet him? Let's take it back one step further. And those are the untold stories. And we need to pull those stories out. And you pull them out by being yourself, by having a genuine interest in the industry that they are in, from business owner to business owner. Like, you want to learn about one. They might not want to learn about you, and that's okay. But we will take it one step further. We will be 1% better in that scenario.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to run too far over our time, and I think we covered so much good stuff. I really love this call. I think I'm really glad we got to catch up. Like I said at the beginning, to the people listening, I haven't actually had the chance to catch up with Mladen in a few months. So, I guess to tie it in from our last topic, this was very out of self-interest as well. Just getting to hear about what he's been up to with his community. And then every time we have these calls, this is the second one we've hosted, but I mean, who knows how many we've had, where we just riff off each other, and there's so much growth and learning, and hearing his perspectives. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, his stuff will be in the description of this video if you want to go check it out, along with his community. So if you're a videographer watching, if you're starting off, you want to hit those early numbers, definitely go check it out. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Feel free to check out. I was saying earlier in this call, you need to learn how to speak on camera so you don't use filler words like ums and this this outro is full of them. But if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to this channel. I like to post content based around video strategy and kind of the business side of being a video business owner. So yeah, if you guys want to watch more, subscribe, drop a like, and we'll be back again with more stuff soon. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mladen, for joining us today.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Can't wait to do it again.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye.